Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace and this is another Ye Old Book Corner video. In previous videos I've tackled just one book per video. This time I'm going to try and tackle 5. Whether I can get to them all or not remains to be seen. I've read each of these books, some more recently than others. This first one, not recently at all. In fact, I read it right after it was first published in 1976. Strange Secrets of the Loch Ness Monster by Warren Smith, published in 1976 by Zebra Books, an imprint of Kensington Publishing. Now, if I remember correctly, Warren Smith postulates that the Loch Ness Monster exists, is just up to modern-day science to catch up to him and prove it. This is a first printing. I have no idea whether it was ever reprinted. Second up, another book published by Kensington Publishing, but under their Pinnacle Books imprint, Captain Quirk. The unauthorized biography of William Shatner by Dennis William Hayek. Hopefully I'm saying that name correctly. There are a number of black and white photos in here. If you want to read a flattering book about William Shatner, this isn't it. So if you're a fan of William Shatner, you may not want to read this book. It's an entertaining book to read, but it trashes William Shatner. Now, there are a number of black and white photos in here, and I'm going to try and show them to you without bending this or cracking the spine. In addition to reading books, I collect them. And so that's about as far as I open them when I read them. Okay, this next one is quite old. Published by Dahl Books, which specializes in science fiction and fantasy. This was release number 2. And is a paperback edition of a book that was originally published in Great Britain as a hardcover under a different title. In the UK, it was published as Gold the Man, and if I'm reading my Roman numerals correctly, it has a copyright date of 1971. The Mind Behind the Eye by Joseph Green. Number 2. Now, on the back there are 2 pull quotes, one rather small, short, A Real Way Outer by the Bradford Telegraph, and then there's another one from the London Sunday Times, which is more extensive. And yes, I'm going to give this a shot. Excellent. The style is lucid and intelligent, the theme audaciously original. In the fairly near future, genetic engineering has produced 2 super-intelligent men, Gold in the USA and Petrovna in the USSR. Meanwhile, the solar system has been visited by aliens who seem to want to eliminate Homo sapiens. An alien ship comes to grief, but its occupant survives with extensive brain damage. He is, wait for it, a 300-foot humanoid giant. Petrovna has a good idea. Scoop the damaged brain section out, install computer control of muscles plus a chamber to contain a human being, then return said giant to his own planet so that the spy in his head can find out what's cooking. Petrovna is killed, but Gold and Petrovna's female assistant carry out the mission. I recall enjoying this book, but I don't recall why. So, couldn't take that for what it's worth. Okay, this next book is a classic science fiction novel. It's been turned into a rather poor film. Generally, you're better off if a book has been turned into a film to see the film first and then read the book, because if you do it the other way around, generally you're going to be disappointed. The Day of the Triffids Now, the basic premise of this novel is that there is a meteor shower which blinds nearly everyone on Earth, with the exception of a handful of people. And then you have these plants, man-eating plants, roaming the Earth in search of people to eat. They have the Triffids. If you've seen the film but not read the book is much better than the film. Okay, this last book I saved for last because it's rather disturbing. I debated on whether to show it or not, but it's extremely well written, very compelling read, and as it was originally published right after the events that occurred, that makes it even more interesting. It's in the true crime genre, and it's called House of Evil by John Dean. You may not want to go any further. Just fair warning, I'm not going to show any photographs, but I'm just telling you this is a disturbing case, which happened in the early 60s. This book tells of the systematic, slow torture of Sylvia Likens, who was a teenager at the time, a young teenager. She was tortured by an entire household and even some of the neighbors, and it's extremely disturbing. Now, this book was originally published as a hardcover in 1966, and the foreword to that edition is in this edition, and then there's a new foreword by the author. Both forewords are by the author. And in the new foreword, he mentions that the original edition sold 55,000 copies. Very disturbing case. It says on here that there was a movie made based on this called An American Crime, which it says is now out on DVD. I have no idea how available it is because I haven't tried to look for it. There are photos in here, black and white photos. I am not going to show any of them. It's a disturbing book. Do not pick it up lightly, because once you start reading it, it's hard to put down, as disturbing as it is. Until next time, stay awesome.